That's disturbing. That sounds like a terrible recipe for noodle soup. Oh, good day. Welcome to the library here at Horror Hotel once again. It's time for Creepy Cheapies with Dr. Lady, where we look at the best in good quality Halloween masks. I'm Lieutenant Columbo of Homicide, and tonight's mask is something a little different, and it's a large one. It's Oogie Boogie. That's right, O-O-G-I-E, B-O-O-G-I-E, Oogie Boogie from The Nightmare Before Christmas, which came out around 1993, I believe. Yeah. If you're familiar with the movie, it's an animated cartoon sort of movie in the style of the old Rudolph and Rankin Bass animated TV program about Halloween and Christmas coming together. And Oogie here is the bad guy. He's the heavy, you might say. Even in a city of monsters and ghosts and scary characters, he's bad. He's the only one that's really like serious about, you know, really scaring people and hurting people, and he's the bad guy. Now Oogie Boogie loves to scare people by giving them nightmares and scaring them with bugs. And if you take a close look at this mask, you can see, because Oogie in the context of the movie is in fact, even though he looks a bit like a traditional ghost and a bit like a traditional classic style scarecrow, he's actually a sack of bugs. And when you open him up, bugs come out. So the people at Disguise who made this mask is from a company called Disguise Incorporated. That's right, D-I-S-G-U-I-S-E, Disguise. The folks at Disguise have thoughtfully filled his mouth up with bugs for your viewing pleasure, and here and there there's even an additional bug creeping out of him where there's a sort of gap in the fabric, because again, he's supposed to be a big sack full of live bugs. Now this mask has been out for a few years, not since 1993, no, but it's been out for a few years. Not sure exactly what year it first came out because there were some variations, but if you can find the one from Disguise that's made of vinyl, this isn't latex, it's vinyl, I think this is the one to have. It holds its shape pretty well. A couple of things to bring up with regard to this mask. This point, which again gives him the look of a traditional old-fashioned ghost costume, this point on his head, it wanted to flop down in a way that even though he's supposed to be a big, loose, baggy sack head, it didn't look good. It looked crimped, like it was folded down. Now there's some foam in the top of the mask. I had to pull the foam loose. Let me just sort things out a little bit here so you can see the foam. Yeah, there's some foam in there. I had to pull a bit of the foam loose. There's a black piece of foam that keeps the head stretched out. It wasn't really doing its job, so I had to pull that foam loose, and I took some wadded up plastic bags and stuffed them up in here just a little, not real tightly, just loosely stuffed, just enough to hold this out in its proper shape in which it was sculpted. Now the fact that it's vinyl is nice on the one hand because it means it won't deteriorate over time naturally the way latex does, but it's bad in another way because it means to display it you really need to make sure it's precise, it's in exactly the shape you want it in, because vinyl doesn't spring back into its molded shape. It doesn't have the memory that latex compounds do. So when you're displaying it, you want to stuff it just right so it looks just right, and there you are. Now as far as wearing it, I would say take the mask to your local Joann Fabrics or someplace like that that sells fabrics and just see what's the closest material you can find to this in terms of color and texture. It's kind of like burlap, sort of. Kind of a tan, brown, dirty looking burlappy fabric, but it'd be easy to make a costume. It just needs to be like a big sack, basically, a big loose fitting robe type of thing. And if you're a big fat person, you're going to look great as Oogie Boogie because he's a bloated sack. Now the mask also has little pieces of black screen mesh in the eyes so that people can't see your eyes in there, and they just see that little black shadow where his eye would be. And it has, you may have been able to see this, it has a clear plastic form, like an armature in here, that holds the face in shape, which is the same thing the old César French vinyl masks used to do. They would send them out with the nice face form in there, made of rigid plastic. That keeps him looking good on display in your collection. If you're going to wear it with your big fat sack costume, you're going to want to take that out of there. Okay, take the clear plastic out of there. Don't leave that in there while you're wearing it. But I would say if you do take it out carefully. Go slow, take your time, remove it carefully. Try not to break it all into pieces so that you'll still have it, because then when you come home after wearing the mask, you can fit that back in there and have it, you know, still hold up, look good, preserve its shape, etc. But old Oogie from Disguise Incorporated, made of vinyl, and the only other thing I can tell you about him is that you should shop around a little, because there have been different versions of the Oogie Boogie mask, but this is the finest one. But the weird thing is, the price is all over the place with this guy. Maybe that's just because Oogie is such a nasty character. Maybe that's why this happens. I have seen these sell from anywhere from $30 to $85 for exactly this same mask. So keep that in mind. Shop around a little, you know, do the thing online where you sort by price, high to low, low to high. Do that kind of thing and try to find a decent deal on one that is a nice Oogie Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas. And until we meet again, well, season's beatings.